Hello YouTube, this is an alcohol review of Akashi Ume. It is a plum flavored Japanese whiskey. According to the label, 30.5 alcohol by volume, which makes it 70 proof, 750 ml bottle, and all it says is plum flavored. Turns out they received their license in 1919, making it one of the older distilleries, if not the oldest distillery there. And just found it very interesting. It's the simplicity of the bottle. It's almost pharmaceutical by the way the bottle looks. The screw off top, the not even indented bottom to it. It's very odd. Now I had tried another type of Japanese whiskey and found it also quite odd and on par with a lot of Irish whiskeys. And the on par part is simply nothing more than the strength, the bite, of the heat that it gave off. Very light, much like you would find, in my opinion, much you would find in an Irish whiskey. So, giving this a try, we shall see what we see. It is a very light yellow. Very, very faint yellow. Give it a swirl. Now, according to the website, it is plums were added to the barrels, as well as a hint of sugar. It runs down almost immediately. Good long, strong legs. So those of you who may not know, those of you who do, please do give me a second here to speak. But those of you who don't know, the reason for the swirl is of twofold in this case. The one is so you put up on the side and you see how it comes down. The crags, it's called tiering or legs. The more there is, the faster there is, the less sugar is left in solution. The sugar that's left over is from the fermentation. Everything is fermented first, and then, unlike beers and wines, it will go through a second stage of distillation. So, what sugar is remaining stays through. That implies, if it's a lot of sugar into it, it's going to be a little bit thicker on the mouthfeel, as well as on the sweeter side. This I have found to be a touch and go, a yes and no sort of thing. But it is nice to get some sort of expectation. You actually get a base idea, a thought, if you will, of what it's supposed to taste like. The second is that by bringing the solution up on the side of the glass, in this case a Glencairn, where right as you can see, this is about in the middle of the belly, it's a little high. It gives maximum air contact, then it funnels upwards, so it will funnel the scent to your nose. 70% and more of what you taste is through the nose. So in this case, it helps funnels it out. By putting a swirl to it and letting it fall, what's remaining outside the glass also evaporates. You get more surface area, more scent. That I have found to be true, constant. A bit of a burn. And it's nothing but fruit notes. For a whiskey, I usually get nose of apricot and other stone fruits, as well as lots of spices, including vanilla and cinnamon. These types of things. But this It tastes like subdued fruit, predominantly plum. Very nice. Like I said, there was a strong point at that first schnoz into it, but it's calmed itself down, and you can smell the sugar that's been added to it. It's like white icing. Yeah, and this is the part that impressed me the most. Very light on the palate, hardly any burn, just about zero bite, complete. Uh, it's a sugary icing in the back of the palate. Up front, it's like a plum wine that comes in, but clearly it is a whiskey. There's a hint of oakiness that kind of parades through, but not very strong. Obviously, that's the white oak. The Japanese use the white oak in theirs, which we use a charred white oak, but I don't think they charred this very well. See how bright that is, light yellow it is. But anyway, it is young. From what I understand, it's 2 years old or something. Of course, it's on the website. If you look it up, you'll find out it's not like, oh, it's a 10-year-old, whatever. No, it's more like 2 year, something quite young. And usually in the whiskeys, when it's that young, is bitey and burny and off tastes of burnt tire and things along that line. This does not have that at all. It's very much so, very much so, a fruit basket of light fruit flavors. Yeah, think a fruit gum liquefied and in a glass. Now, also give it 30.5 alcohol by volume. There you go. Now, I did try this with ice. And, you have to be careful when you do something like that. Because ice will kill 70-80% of the flavor right there. This stuff, I would like to say, is multi-layered, but it really isn't. It's much more of a fruit bomb in a glass. Ice has a tendency of taking anything that's got layers and flavors and melding it together and just simply just dropping it right there. But because this is already a fruit bath, there wasn't any worry of that. And because of the cold took those edges off, what little edges it has, think harsh sandpaper, really. It just took them right away, right on off, making it wonderfully even smoother yet. Almost to the point that it's like, are you sure this is a whiskey and not some sort of bizarre drink out of a can, like a soda of some sort, just without the bubbles? It is that sweet. Now, I found with rums, when they add sugar to theirs, to the rums in the processing, that helps out a lot. I would not have thought that when it comes to a whiskey, but it does. It greatly improves it. So think of this as a very light Irish whiskey, bathed in fruit notes with a little bit of white icing added in with the flavorings, and this is what you get. And of course, those fruit notes is predominantly plum. So it's not like a heavy plum like a jelly, like a jelly plum. It's a very light plum. As in, you're going, this is very fruity. What exactly am I tasting? Huh, plum. Yeah, now I get the plum. That's what was I got out of all this. See what you guys think. This is Akashi Ume Japanese Whiskey. Any comments about this particular product down below will be warmly accepted, as always. Or better yet, go out, buy it, and try it, and let the rest of us in the whiskey or YouTube spirits community know your thoughts about it. And until next time, keep on drinking.